What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here from Dyslexic Investor as I'm trying to get this quarter. There we go. All right. What's up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here from the Dyslexic Investor, and thank you, everyone, for joining for another fantastic Sunday stock live stream with myself. And we're going to be looking at charts, talking some fun stuff, having a great time, and just looking at the overall market and kind of giving some kind of a perspective or my honest opinions on some stocks or where things could be moving and different various components within that. A couple people have already put in a couple tickers. Ronnie Blue has put in Spotify. We're gonna look at Apple. What up, Makeshift? Yes, let's see here. Looks like that. Microsoft, we want to talk about Microsoft, so I'm going to be adding this little list over here to kind of keep me somewhat honest and kind of keeping myself on track to kind of see, to go what's up with that like that. Brian, what's up? That's awesome. Testing 1 2 3 1 2 3. Everything sound okay? Can I get a thumbs up or anything? I'm not a big, actually I don't like shellfish, so that's, don't judge me on that. I'm not a shellfish person. Alright, let me get some of these tickers down real fast. I'm seeing Spot, Apple, Microsoft, someone wanted BA. Let's see here. TSM, yeah, we look at TSM, that one's one kind of came on my radar as well. To your side, Pete. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Alpaca, yes, thank you for joining, my friend. I know California's been crazy. Did you, are the animals okay? The farm animals make it back to the farm and everything? Google, Dan, yes. I did see your comment. We can talk about Google. Let me get these couple down. So again, I have to keep myself honest here. We can have some fun here. All right, let's go ahead and just kind of look overall at the market here. So we can kind of just peruse over to the futures market. Should be able to see my screen now. And seeing S&P up 0.22. Let's just call it 0.25%. And basically gold's down 0.34. Nasdaq's up a little over 0.25%. The Russell's actually up nearly 0.5%, which is interesting. Bitcoin's down 0.5%. Nothing really. I don't really trade Bitcoin. The VIX is down just slightly, nearly 0.87. We got the bonds are just up just a tear, just a little tad at 0.17. And of course, everyone's going to want to be talking about Tesla and Apple without a doubt. So we'll have some fun. But yes, let's go ahead and jump into, so I want to do this a little bit out of order. I promised Dan to do Google first, so we can kind of, actually, let's do the S&P 500. It's going to be a very simple breakdown for S&P 500. We just want to start closing above this previous high and having this trend continue. I like this pattern in the sense of just slowly coming up to this line, and it's not completely just breaking through and kicking the door in. So that's always a good sign. I don't like aggressive moves up, because usually if aggressive move up, there's usually meaning an aggressive move down. So I like this steady Eddie pattern to kind of start breaking into this new time highs there as well. So that is looking really good as we're looking at that. Really looking to kind of see again that price above that, let's just call it 3,033. 40-ish level to kind of see that kind of just get higher up there. So let's go ahead and just jump to Google for Dan. So this is the one I think I forgot to hit submit, honestly. I always do that with when I do the comments on my phone. I always hit submit. So with Google, we're really looking for this pattern to continue. We did have that squeeze fire long here with the RSI. The only thing is we need to see some more volume coming in here. Hitting an all-time high just past Friday, potential target of the $1,671 there. That's to the upside, and you're seeing a lot of consolidation basically around the $1,500 ish. That's where you're seeing that pattern kind of come in, and this has come down past the 50 days multiple times in the past. So just be mindful of that. Google has kind of been somewhat of a lagger if you compare it to other stocks in the same kind of bracket. You kind of look at the other FANG-ish kind of companies. Of course, Apple's completely breaking out. Facebook's doing better, and Google's always a hard one to read without a doubt. They've been around for a while, and I think that they just have a certain swagger with their moves, and it's very deceptive, honestly, when you're trying to chart things out, especially on Google. Because if you just ping over to the longer data chart, it looks fairly strong here. It just on the daily chart, it just looks really choppy in Google. Because a lot of these more tech-heavy stocks have just been riding up the 21. This one's kind of been sloppy, really sloppy. Next one, let's do BA. BA, we wanted to look at BA. BA has kind of just been dormant. Let's see that this dormant can just really just kind of, is it going to be a sleeping beast here and just wake up and go extremely higher, go lower, or is it just going to take its little bit longer dated nap here? Really tied to the overall, again, the virus, the pandemic. It's not performing very well due to, again, airlines not flying, traveling restrictions, blah, 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 blah. Everyone knows the list because it goes on and on and on. With that being said, we're seeing some really basic support kind of coming around the 162 to 163 range, kind of where those parabolic SARs coming in. I could see this pattern if we see that break of the parabolic SAR to the downside to kind of hold this trend higher. We could be testing down to like 150 potentially. That being said, anything can happen and things can go skyrocketing, but this is definitely one that's kind of on my radar for a much longer term trade. This is not something that's going to be getting back up to 300 anytime soon. So just be super mindful of that, even though on how things work out. Just be very careful out there on the sense of the BA's trade. Again, this is a longer recovery thing. It's just not going to be rainbows and unicorns overnight with BA. Next we wanted to talk about was Spot. This is going to be Spotify, the music streaming app that's taking everything by storm and signing Mr. Rogan. That's signing the First Lady, the former First Lady, Michelle Obama. That's signing one of the Kardashians. I always forget one of their names. People like that stuff. That's fine, whatever. But that being said, from the previous swing high to previous swing low, the quarter wasn't that great, but it kind of held at 34. And the 34 has held for a pretty substantial amount of time here. I really like this pattern. This looks like it's building into momentum here. It's the RSI's going higher. We are seeing the volume zone oscillator go higher as well. Where we closed above the 50% retracement, so it's around above 270 from the swing high to swing low. That's a Fibonacci symbol there, or retracement numbers. That would be a potential move. We want to see it above the 277.36 to really get things moving, and from 277.36 we can see potential prices coming in around 287. So my short-term goal, particularly with Spot, is looking for 287 if this trend can continue. The things to look for if the trend does not continue, we could see that potential breakdown lower. Really looking for that consolidation around 255. If that 255 doesn't hold, we could see some further downside from Spot. Let's do Microsoft next. Microsoft's kind of the same kind of pattern here. The quarter for Microsoft was great, but it wasn't well received. Kind of came down. Then, of course, the TikTok stuff came out and looked like it just took everyone by surprise, and they're going to be buying. Seeing this pattern kind of play out, living the hype up again, everyone forgets about, oh, they are buying TikTok, and then it's news for about, 25 minutes, and then it just kind of dies off. They have until, I believe, September or something like that to make a deal. But looking for this to really come down to consolidate, traded between the 21 and 34 EMA, trying to grind higher. Again, we're above the 50% retracement. we're above the 618, so 618 is going to be a very key level as well, but we want to see that above the 214 to start getting it up past its previous high to really the target of 22206 for Microsoft. And then let's do Apple next. Of course, Apple. This one's been absolutely insane, to say the least. So I did a video, if you haven't seen it already, a couple days ago that I thought that Apple's momentum could continue to $500 by the end of the month, thinking that would hit it probably midweek of this week or even towards the end of the split. But it hit it within nearly a day, so I wasn't really... I think I had the proper understanding of this really strong momentum, and especially the hype train and the FOMO behind this. I think that there is still some FOMO in this, without a doubt. I think come Monday, Tuesday, we can really see if the overall market, by the overall market, the NASDAQ, S&P 500 stay higher, or even the Dow, because Apple's part of the Dow, but it's a huge component in it. I think that this could go a little bit higher. That being said, I think once the split comes out, that could cause more confusion, and we could potentially see some even uplift from that. Again, that's all complete speculation. That is something that I normally don't like to completely speculate on, a largest company in the world kind of thing. I just want to take my little bit of profit that I got from it, and just take it and run and kind of see what happens, because this is really more just there is no like, hey, they came out with a new device. There's no really news behind this. The only news is that, hey, what's the FOMO behind it, really? Hey, thanks everyone for joining. Johnny Bravo. Thank you, Kevin, Fish, Sam, David J. Thank you guys for coming out. Ryan, I see you there. Johnny Bravo, I need a YOLO play for next week. Well, I think Apple, Tesla will be your YOLO plays if you want to play it like that, without a doubt. So, that being said, I think that can easily continue. It's going to be very hard to kind of project things out here from this momentum. We can do some very basic fibs, but I really don't want to do it because this pattern really doesn't confine to those kind of moves. Because we had the initial price target around $526, but that was like a longer dated price target for Apple. Like thinking this would happen in like a couple months or toward the next earnings. But that was way back when, after this earnings kind of came out, we were looking at like, I could maybe hit 520-ish. But boom, it's just been super strong here. I'm a little hesitant to go complete bull on it. It's just not my cup of tea to really chase this, honestly. Like it's just gone up so much. Then let's do TSM. Someone reported on TSM. So TSM, of course, has been done very well after its quarter as well. Has done very well after its quarter, coming up, gapping up multiple days even after the quarter, and now kind of building a base here around this 78. Came down the Thursday of last week to the 21. Never really broke below it. Potentially building a base here around the 78 to basically the 77 level. We've seen this kind of formation with TSM before. Looking at the pattern of like it moves higher, builds a base, moves higher, builds a base, moves higher, builds a base, and can it move higher and build another base? So the next overhead target really is going to be, again, breaking the all-time high, but really looking for $88.41 for TSM. Downside support's really going to come between the 21 and 34. Since it's a pretty large mover, you got to be very careful with this one, without a doubt. We do shop. Let me put that in my list here. And then I saw something else for AMD, Nvidia. Yep, we can do those guys. AMD. We can do Nvidia, NVDA. Let's do shop real fast for you, my friend. So Shop is kind of someone that I just kind of covered in my previous video with that I saw Kevin O'Leary on CNBC really bullish on this in the sense of like this could be potentially breaking out. With Shop, I like this pattern. We have the parabolic SARs really kind of uplifting this. We're seeing a little bit of tight consolidation here. We're seeing volume drying up, meaning that we could potentially see a large upkick. There is no squeeze in play, so I'm a little bit hesitant on that. But that doesn't mean I can take this trade to the long side. But everything is just really dormant between the RSI and the volume zone oscillator. But that being said, this could easily break above the 1050 price range that I currently have on it to really break above that 1120 to basically getting well above that 1100 price target that we could easily grasp if it really does phenomenally well, honestly. I think it has that potential. To the downside, we're really looking for support around the 21, so basically I'm going to call it basically around $1,000 to $996. That's kind of falling in between the 21 and the parabolic SAR, really falling in with my rules between kind of buying or the support levels between the 21 and 34. This has come down a little bit past the 34 at times. But even though this is being a very fast, I would call it a fan favorite for a lot of traders and investors, the 50-day can kind of come into play there as well. So be mindful of that big. Who was it for AMD? Was it Fish or Kevin? Anyway, so AMD, this is looking a lot like TSM in the sense of having a huge quarter, gapping up multiple days, and now building a base here. Building a base around 82, potential support around $77, and seeing this kind of potentially build a base and pop higher. Again, there's a lot of good catalysts coming the way for AMD instead of being a huge overall component of the new PlayStation. They're really dominating the server rack side of things and just really optimizing to be in the chip maker of the future and just really taking Intel's lunch. Really taking Intel's lunch, dinner, and their wife. No, they'll punt, yeah. Jamie, so Shop, I'll give you an example. Overvalued, I really don't care about, like, okay, sorry, I don't want to be rude. I don't really care about what the value is. I'm more or less looking at the chart. Overvalued would be a sense of like a PE ratio or the earnings on shares or all that kind of stuff. And I normally don't track that stuff. This is a very high growth stock and company, and it's just been really just performing very well. Then I wanted to do Nvidia. Nvidia, of course, broke above that $500 level, which is fantastic. Really looking for, again, this seems insane. I know this seems insane, but we're looking for the next price target above or around 563. I know stocks just go up, right? They just keep on going up and up without a pullback. So again, I'm not going full bull on everything here. I'm being I'm playing smaller size, to be quite honest, in the sense of just like, hey, being very strategic, being very careful, not putting on full positions, because again, we're hitting all-time highs. The S&P 500's just trying to break over its all-time highs. My spidey senses are saying, hey, just take a break, Ken. You've been doing very well the last 2 or 3 months. Just please conserve capital and just kind of potentially wait for a potential buy-in if the market does decide to turn. If it doesn't, then I lose out, and I just got to be more patient, right? That is what it is. For Nvidia, really support's going to be coming in around the 456.79 cents, kind of where the 21 EMA is. That's going to be for more like holding it for maybe weeks to months, or even longer. More like on the weeks to months side. If you really just want to day trade it, you're going to be really looking between the 5 and 8 exponential moving average and playing it off of that. PLNT. What is PLNT? Oh, Planet Fitness. Okay, so we kind of think we covered this one last week. So we talked about it really needed to get above that $56.27. Really not seeing that pattern coming through. This is a fairly nice potential base building here, but we're still below the 200 EMA. We're below the 618, which is around $63.94. So really looking for this pattern potentially to trade sideways. And if the pattern doesn't hold and the 5 and 8 don't cross through the 21, we could be coming back down to support around 50 to 52 and so forth. But we're really looking to kind of get above that $62 to $63 to start breaking out of this really negative downward pattern. But again, I think this is the gym that we're talking about is really tied to the fitness stuff. The street is asking for Tesla. Oh, JPMorgan. I'm sorry. I wanted to do JPMorgan when you do JPMorgan as well. Let's do Tesla, then we do JPMorgan. Of course, Tesla is going to be in the news without a doubt. Of course, Elon is I think he just became the third or fourth richest person in the world due to this valuation of the stock. That being said, this one is just really going to become, without a doubt, a pretty crucial play next week to see how this turns out. My next overall target for this one, I know, but I'm not saying it can't reach it, but it's unlikely to get it to around $2,500. So $2,510.24 is my next potential upside of target. That is going to be the next overall looking at there. But this thing has just been a rocket ship. Since I'm a long-term shareholder in this, I'm just kind of riding it out. I don't have any calls or selling any puts in this currently because I kind of just want the split to happen, and then I'll start playing and see where the price comes into. Because if it closes around the 2100, we're gonna get that 420 meme just going everywhere. Let's do JPMorgan like I promised. JPMorgan banks not have the largest amount of understanding of how banks work. I don't think a lot of people know how banks honestly work because they're kind of the black hole of funnel of, hey, I could turn $1 into $2, and how did you do that? Oh, no, don't worry about it, Ken. It's a bunch of derivatives, and we just take this sandwich from someone else and we give it to you, and then we just cut everyone down lower. And I'm like, oh, okay, that doesn't make any sense. But looking at the chart here with JPMorgan from the previous swing high to previous swing low, you kind of see that I have some alerts out for this one. Looking here for around the to break out above the 200 EMA really, because it has broken out twice but failed. Potentially looking for some potential downside. If this pattern can't hold above the 97 and 96, we could be coming back down to 92 there, my friend. Let's see here. I'm sorry, the chat's going a little fast for me today. I'm a little slow. Peloton, yeah, we can do Peloton. Peloton. So just talking about Planet Fitness, now we're looking at Peloton. Hey, this thing has been a really fan favorite. Folks love these things. Kind of playing the same pattern like the other stay-at-home stuff. Kind of coming down, traded between the 21 and 34, consolidated, and now trying to pop higher. Could this be an earnings run? I think it can be. The trade idea would be potentially if it can stay above $69.07, potentially looking for 70 to 73, even to 76 if the momentum can kick in. So there's no squeeze in place, but we do have a good reading on volume and RSI, so we could see a potential earnings run because it has earnings in basically 2 weeks in the second week of September, looking for a potential earnings run for here to kind of get above that previous high. Again, people getting that FOMO, getting that trade on. We would love to see just a little bit more volume come in to kind of confirm that for Peloton. Chad BMRN. I never heard of that one. Oh, yeah. I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. That looks terrible. I think we did. It looks like I did some fibs here previously on this one. Really just got looks like it's again a pharmaceutical company, so something bad happened here, some kind of announcement or clinical test. Completely went sour, coming down to kind of hold that 74 price target. Again, you kind of see the basic fibs here, looking to kind of start getting above 85 if it wants to kind of get back to life. But this thing has been taking on some damage, and it's not really usually my best trades on trying to pick bottoms. Because again, pharmaceutical stocks, you don't know when the bottom is on that, so I can't really help you with that one, my friend. Blue is asking about Adobe. Let's look at Adobe. Yeah, Adobe has been an interesting one as well. It finally broke out of that box that we kind of put it in there, Blue. And I'm sorry, I'm just thinking of Blue from what is that Will Ferrell movie? The college one. The Blue is like the guy, the older gentleman that just drinks. I can't remember that guy. What is it? You know what I'm talking about. I gotta look that up later. Anyways, sidetracked again. I need to stop doing that. I get terribly sidetracked. Again, breaking out of that box here, getting above that previous high of $470, looking to potentially test that 485. We have earnings out towards, again, the mid of September, so we could see that earnings runs with this. A little bit too early for an earnings run. Usually earnings runs happen like 2 weeks or 10 days prior to the particular trade. Just came out of a squeeze here, so it really helped that really push out of this box here. Potentially could be consolidating around the 470 price target and potentially breaking above that 485. Really looking for that 485, and then with earnings getting above 500 again, following suit with basically what Nvidia did. We could have, again, like Nvidia kind of flushed a little bit, and then it was a great buying opportunity. With this one, potential support kind of coming in around the 452. Again, that's the 21 EMA, and where the 618 kind of line up there of Blue. And thank you for saying please. I appreciate that. Thank you, Blue. And Godspeed. Connection text. Hello, can you please look at Is that Nordstrom? So Nordstrom, kind of like, I don't do a lot of shopping, so I don't know how Nordstrom's clothes have been, because I haven't been in a mall forever either, actually. But that overall movement with earnings coming out, it's got earnings Tuesday, it looks like. Of course, with Kohl's, didn't do very well. That's the only thing kind of could tie it to. I'm not really familiar with Nordstrom's like online services, but this thing does not look very pretty here. The trend is still lower. Again, with earnings, as you know, is a coin flip for me. I really don't want to play it, but it looks kind of negative going into it. With that kind of potentially with the 5 and 8 crossing through the 21. Again, if Nordstrom comes out and they say they have a cure and they have a virus cure, then of course that's going to be skyrocketing out to thousands of dollars. I don't know, thousands. I over exaggerated, but it's going to break this rut. Like I think the overall basis you're looking for, I'm gonna guess you want to see high channels within online sales. And I don't know if you're going to be able to get that, because Kohl's, which I thought was a leader, and they had a overall agreement with Amazon, didn't do very well either. Can't think of what Kohl's. What is Kohl's? It's a K. There it is. So with Kohl's, not saying it's going to happen just like that. Kind of gapped down on earnings and has kind of made that same pattern, because it was already potentially crossing through the 21. And I think that they kind of could follow suit. Not meaning it has to happen, but this pattern looks fairly much the same as Nordstrom. Old school. Thank you, DMC8282. Yes, you saved me there. Yes. Old school, old school. Blue's the old guy. Johnson & Johnson. You ever look at Johnson & Johnson here? J&J. Always fun to say. So I actually met their CEO at a commencement speech. Didn't get to talk to him, but I met him. That being said, I don't know why I had to blurt that out. That was kind of name dropping. Seemed like a nice guy. For the previous swing high or previous swing low, you can see that really tight pattern here. You see it kind of held that 200 EMA here, basically around 143. Kind of seen that movement. Again, J&J is a large company. It's not going to be moving crazy. It has multi-facets in different various markets. So it's a great little company to hold longer term. Really kind of coming up to that 150 price target, failing, coming back down to 21, building up the strength, breaking, finally passed above that. If we can get above that 152.80, we could easily see all-time highs above 157 to the 162 price target. Since earnings is kind of behind us, the dividend payment looks like it's coming out tomorrow. So just be mindful of that coming out tomorrow, potentially seeing that price rise up again with the overall industry of the vaccine. Of course, Johnson & Johnson being somewhat of a recession-proof stock as well, because everyone needs Band-Aids, medicine, and diapers, and all the other kind of stuff that they provide. Oliver, we did Tesla, but we can do Tesla real fast again. For Tesla, really looking for, again, anything can happen with Tesla. My next target for Tesla to the upside is 25, 10, 42, or 24. To the downside, we're looking for potential support kind of coming in. Stronger support around 1661, but we can easily see a base around 1920. Riot, yeah, we kind of covered Riot before. Did it move a lot this week? Yeah, this is kind of some. I remember this now. Kind of just had a huge FOMO move, and now kind of consolidating here. Kind of potentially waiting for the moving averages to kind of catch up here, and see some consolidation, and then potentially get a breakout higher or lower. As of right now, we have the parabolic SARs kind of above it, kind of pushing it down. So that really needs to start breaking above this trend. Again, that is pushing it down, waiting for these moving averages to potentially touch or get in between the 21 and 34 for a rip higher or lower. So this is really much of a waiting game to kind of prove itself to you. But honestly, it's going to be a hard one for me to trade. Chad with the BMRN, how could it get clapped so bad to buy the dip? Anything can happen with the stock market, but usually if something gets clipped that bad, it has to happen for a reason. It's not just something. I didn't read into the news. I don't follow the stock. I'm not an analyst on it, so I don't know why it got clipped so hard. But the call sides, if it does come back, those call sides will explode in prices in the sense of just exponentially grow. But again, that's the bet you make. You don't know when that's going to happen, if it's going to come back. That's the point of the market, right? I wish I knew where it could come back. Oh, you're selling. Okay, that's conservative. Or you're on Riot. You're selling there. We did JWN. We did already cover that, my friend. Is that the one we just did? That was Nordstrom, right? Yeah, we already covered that. Please don't ping it again. Let's see here. Omar is asking about Lowe. Yeah. We can look at that. I think we actually have a position in that. So this one again is kind of like the Tractor Supply. I think if Allen's in there, we played that one pretty well. So Tractor Supply was basically this stock up here we played. On earnings, it kind of got hit, but guess what? It still held the trend and it was continued going higher. With Lowe's, same kind of movement. That earnings was great, kind of got kicked around a little bit, but it's still holding that 5 and 8 moving average, which is insane, right? Like, this company is just really printing money in the sense of like, hey, everyone's at home. Guess what they're doing? They're improving their home. They're gardening. They're growing tomato plants. They're enjoying the outdoors a little bit more on their deck if they have the opportunity to, and they're just really just investing in their home, lack of a better words. And that, you can also see that with Lennar and other home builders. Like, hey, these the market with Redfin too. Like, we traded Redfin last week, and that was a fantastic move on the sense of it moving around. This thing looks super strong here. It's going to be hard to tell you when to buy this. You're really going to have to potentially wait for a dip here if you don't want to be super aggressive. Really looking for that 21 support around 153-ish. But again, that's going to be changing day to day on this movement. But this is a beautiful trading stock. Like, this is insane, honestly, on this particular movement here. This is really just a true trend change of like, hey, everyone now is a stay-at-home farmer, basically. For crypto, CAR, what is that? Did I trade that before? Oh shoot, come on, my keyboard's not working. There we go. So it looks like a therapeutics. Yeah, this is again a pharmaceutical stock. Looks like these. It's going to be very hard to really give you a very good, honest breakdown on this stock, my friend, because again, with a large dip like that, yes, it happens for reasons, and the market can kind of change. That being said, from the previous swing high to low, we're seeing some consolidation here. Without even the Fibonacci retracements, you can kind of see it's been holding the 200 EMA. It has broken above it. Now it's kind of coming back low. Now the 5 and 8 have crossed through the 21 and seen some lower prices, kind of bouncing off this 38.2, which we've seen some downward movement before. If this can't hold the 15.69, we could potentially looking for about $15 to down to $13 if it wants to go further to the downside, my friend. To the upside, again, it's been a really long squeeze, not looking like the most positive, with the volume zone oscillator being negative, RSIs trending lower. This really looks potentially can be breaking past that 15.69 to get to that $13 to $14 prices. So I hope that I don't know if you're long or short on this, my friend. That's what's all right. Chris, yes, we can do DataDog. So of course, this one is just like other various companies that we've talked about in the sense of like, hey, it's a work from home, security play, more people are going to be online, blah, 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 blah. From the quarter, didn't do very well. Got hit just like, can't think of the other company that we're just talking about the other day. Oh, drawing a blank. Oh, come on, Ken, you're smarter than that. What is that company? Not Cloudflare. I just traded it. Okay. I'm stupid today. Again, from this one, we bounced off the 1272 extension here from the retracements from the earnings. That's around the $74 price target. Kind of making a nice little bounce here. Seeing not much volume coming in the past couple days, which I kind of like. And then we start seeing the 5 and 8 moving average potentially crossing to the 21. So we get above that $85, we could easily touch that $87 to $90 with a pretty nice move, because we are seeing the volumes on oscillator above 0. RSI is kind of just middle of the field, literally the middle of the field at 50. We need to start seeing this move higher. We have the momentum going higher as well. So DataDog is a nice particular trade to the upside. Unless you want to go super long term, we have to start looking at a weekly side. But this looks like a very somewhat of a bullish trade if the overall market can stay positive, and really looking for that movement from basically $85 to the $90 price target, and really just trading and catching that parabolic SAR to flip to the south side. But what's your thoughts on SP? What is was it PAQ? Is that like a short ETF? Oh, Spartan. Okay. So this is the Fisker car maker, right, Tony? Yeah, so basically, this is another EV company that's coming on the market. They're doing a little bit things differently than like Tesla's doing. They're going to be leasing, and I think this is the company that you can rent the batteries, or you lease the car. You buy the car, but you rent the batteries. Is that is that the company, Tony? I can't remember. There's just too many to keep track of. But this one is just really just kind of just being a steady Eddie and just waiting for the next move higher. It's building up a potential squeeze here. The only thing is that we're slightly below the 21 EMA, which is not my favorite place to be, but looking for this potentially to, again, consolidated here, basically around $12. This is somewhat of a, again, this is a very speculative play because, again, pre-revenue company, just basically going IPO, you're really just, there's not really much data to bet on and place your bets. That being said, we're looking for that basically $12-ish to hold and potentially start breaking above that $13 to kind of start breaking that parabolic SAR down and go to the upside. That being said, I don't know, have the insider knowledge of the sense of the company again. Researching and that will give you the confidence to hold on different swings, but particularly on a trade like this, I don't want to risk too much because it is a pure spec play. David J, what is Dollar Tree or Dollar General? What are the tickers for that? Those have come up in my scan before. My dad's rubber broke. W. Oh, I missed HD. Oh, I missed a lot. Sorry, here, 1 second. Makeshift Player says corn. Is that really a company? Wow. So this one just kind of looks a little bit lackluster, honestly, Makeshift. Kind of coming down. It's been not trading very well at all and just potentially consolidating here around $12. There's not really too much to report on this. This is kind of a lackluster, below the 200 EMA, so nothing really to write home about there, and just really not in the world's greatest trading pattern here. We are above the 21 here, but there's something that just, it's a very difficult one to kind of draw some Fibonacci retracements because, again, if I do, there's not really much, we can kind of show you that here. Let me do that real quick. Yeah. It needs to get above that 1240 basically to do anything, really want to see it above 13, honestly. That's where we really want to be looking for that. HD, that's another Home Depot. Basically, not as the prettiest as pattern as of Lowe's and, of course, Tractor Supply, but it's the same kind of method. Really just doing very well, holding that 21 EMA, basically coming down to the 34 a couple times, but just continue to grind higher. Really looking for potentially that $300 price target to kind of come into play with earnings out of the way. And again, everyone wants to be a farmer. We could easily see some potentially grinding higher, still holding and trending with that 21 and 34, potentially going higher. Let's do W. That's Wayfair, right? Wayfair. Whew, yeah. This is one that I know folks have been trying to go short, but it's again, this is the new switch in the economy, the new switch on rotation of money of like, hey, I don't have to go to a furniture store anymore. I don't have to go to a mattress store. I can get my purple mattress. I can go to Wayfair and buy my bookshelf. I don't need to go IKEA. I don't need to do all that stuff. I can just get it all from Wayfair and get it delivered in a decent amount of time. This one's been holding the 21 very well here and just continue to grind higher. Really for the overall movement with earnings already behind it, this is going to be a difficult one to kind of catch this trend. Looking for, again, if you're intraday trading it or short-term trading it, really to kind of holding it between the 5 and 8 moving average. Downside support is going to be coming in around the 295-ish down to 271. Again, this is a very aggressive move at times, so just be very mindful of that. Alex is looking into FedEx. Yeah, FedEx. So basically, yeah, everyone needs to ship their stuff, and of course, FedEx, UPS has just been there collecting all the gains there. With this one, I really want to look at this one at a larger time frame. I'm not sure what your time horizon is for FedEx, but this one has just been really wanting to break out here and just finally getting its day in the spotlight, and I just want to give it the right justice for FedEx. From the previous swing high to the previous swing low, again, this is a weekly chart, and this is 3 years of that goes back. Really looking for, again, this could be it looks like earnings is coming up. What day is that? 15th. So we could see a nice movement here into earnings. So if it can hold above, I'm going to call it 200 to 195 on the weekly side, we could easily see 234 in the near term. With this very strong movement higher, we could see this potentially start kicking higher and getting above that 234 to even the previous high way back when at 274. So looking here more at the daily side, you can kind of see that pattern kind of kick in. It gaps up, trade sideways, gaps up, trade sideways, and potential gaps up, and then trade sideways once again. So just be mindful of that. That's my overall look at, this is not BA, FedEx, sorry. Jeremy says MU. Yeah, MU is kind of in a little, I call it the danger zone. Kind of like Intel, it's damaged. It's got its wings clipped, and now it's coming back down here. Potentially consolidating around $42. If it can hold this pattern, potentially stop the bleeding from the 5 and 8. The 5 and 8 really needs to start consolidating and start trading sideways and not being pointing down at such an aggressive angle. So there's not really much I can do on this one. I don't want to be nibbling at the bottom here, because if something else comes out, another ball can drop, we can easily see down to around $40 to $36 in price target there. Lowe's is better than HD. Omar, yeah, I love, we have a brand new Lowe's where I live, and I just didn't know they have the proper staff. It was just not the world's great personal experience. But what I normally do is I go online, because they're so close to each other. I find out what I need, and I look at the prices, and that's basically how I justify my buys. And I normally had to buy like a portable AC unit for work one time, and because the server room got on fire, lack of a better words, not on fire, it just got really hot. And I did a call to Lowe's and one to Home Depot, and of course Home Depot came through and got it to me faster, and they gave me a discount on it. So it just depends on where I'm more price sensitive than kind of showing my support in that sense. Omar, we did BA. BA kind of needs to hold this pattern. Long term, I do like it though. Thoughts on Etsy from Big? Yes, Etsy. I just saw their commercial the other day. It was really nicely done, actually. With Etsy, I kind of like this pattern, actually, Big. Really seeing that consolidation here, holding that 1618 here around the 127 level, potentially just trading sideways. If we can start holding this pattern and having these moving averages to continue to go upward to the right, we can see that next price target around 145. With earnings, I think again, a lot of these stocks have just had these huge earnings runs. So what an earnings run means that there's just so many people getting hyped about it and want to get into the trade before even earnings comes out. And of course, when earnings come out, they have to be realistic of like, okay, it only gained 75 cents on its EPS, earnings per share, and then you have to then reality kind of kicks in and the hype train kind of dies off. That's what happens here. Weak hands get out, kind of consolidates, kind of comes back, and now we're in this consolidation period, potentially to get back on this train and get your ticket stamped. This potentially could be a nice little another run into testing that 145 range there, Big. To the downside, looking for support around 123 to around 120. Of course, Etsy being a main competitor, I'm just dominating the overall market. My dad's rubber broke. I'm in Orlando. It's hard to figure out the rest of the country. I agree with that. I live outside of near DC, and it's very difficult to see being so close to the politics is really just kind of just muted a lot of my stuff from all that. So very difficult to kind of see how the rest of the world's doing. Omar, I think BA can consolidate here if there's more negative news coming out, again, tied to more airlines or potential airlines going out of business. That could easily come down to 150 without a doubt. I got puts on corn. Okay, that makes great. I think we'll play should be playing out pretty good for you there. Makeshift, appreciate it, my friend. Thank you for showing up. David J. Let's see here. Dow Jones, we did Google. Google's a weird one. We're looking for around $1,600 for Google if it can hold that pattern. It just did come out of a pattern of consolidation here. Could be, some people call it cup and handle. I just call it a potential pattern of trying to test new all-time highs. Let's do David J. Oh, Dollar General. Yes, let's do that one. I don't know much about the Dollar General stuff. Did I DLG? Did I write that right? Is it DLG, right? I can just type this in here, I guess. Dollar. Is it Dollar Tree or Dollar General? Oh, you said both. I'll just do Dollar Tree. So is Dollar Tree where everything's a buck? Or am I thinking of something else? Or is that Dollar General? It's like a general store in the Midwest. So with this one, I kind of did some Fibonacci's before. Seen that pattern really hold that 200 EMA around the $90 price target. Really getting above that 96, 98 with earnings on the horizon. Again, being a coin flip, be super mindful of that. A coin flip for earnings. Looks like last earnings was fantastic. That's insane. Again, not saying that can't happen again, but earnings I'm normally a little bit more conservative on. So I'm not going to be running out and just throwing in my cash into this. But if the earnings is great, we can easily see that 106.97 price target to be the next magnet for potentially going higher there. To the downside, we're really looking for some support around the 34 and actually around the 96 target. What's the move for next week for this one if it even has weeklies? So $8, let's just call it $8. So we potentially, that could easily come into play around that 106 to the upside. To the downside, we could be looking for basically the 93-ish. Again, that's where the 50-day would kind of come in there. David. Leon Lynn, hey, what up, my friend? Any ideas on Facebook? Yeah, Facebook. Good old Zuckerberg over there, copying everything from everyone else. With this move higher, with earnings doing great, Facebook being part of the overall huge trend moves and tech-heavy stuff. Really short-term trading, if you're really interested in just doing weekly stuff, be very careful with this one because it's holding the 5 and 8 moving averages as of right now. Potentially next upside target would be that 278.53. We've kind of tapped that really fast. What was that, 2 weeks ago nearly, and just kind of came back down, consolidated here, kind of building higher here. With this pattern, this looks like, again, a slow, steady eddy, potentially getting to that 278 to 280 price target. To the downside, we're going to be looking for support around 256 to 254 for your next first level of support to the downside, my friend. Let's see here. Hold on. Yeah, FedEx might be a good play without a shot. I like FedEx. Lowe's helps me find my stuff. Yeah, is that a thing where Lowe's is more consumer focused and then Home Depot's more contractor based? Blue says shop. So Shop is one that we just did a video on, by we, I mean myself, Kevin O'Leary, really looking for this kind of a base to hold around $1,000. And if this movement and volume oscillator and RSI can kind of start picking up, really looking for around $1,100 to the upside there, Blue. I am not a software engineer. I am a IT manager. John says DocU. I don't know why. Has anyone seen that movie, the new Tom Hanks movie about the World War II Atlantic crossings to those convoys that they needed to carry supplies and troops to Europe, and him and his couple other ships were like kind of had to keep the U-boats or the submarines away from it. That was a great movie. I think it was on Apple TV service. That was a great movie. I like that a lot. I don't know how, again. Yeah. So again, I have this all maxed up here. So let me move this here 1 second. So with DocU, this has been a complete monster run here with DocU, and just going really much higher here, holding that 21 very well, but really getting shaken up here due to the fact of people like, the big C is over, vaccines coming out, blah 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 blah. Coming down to the 34, holding the 34, and now kind of coming back. Now hitting some resistance at basically the 213, aka the 618, which is a very key level as well, to kind of really potentially break out. That being said, to really break out, we need to start getting above that 213 price target to really see that 220 to that 230 price target. If this doesn't, if this really holds to the downside, we're looking for support around 204, even down to 198 to the downside for DocU. Oh, both are the dollar items. So DG, okay. Yeah, these look crazy good trades, my friend. Like this has been in a very strong, long squeeze pattern. Kind of just, again, this is not a Tesla or Amazon or Facebook or Apple, but this is a nice steady eddy. Like this is a nice little trading, even consolidation. Really, just selling puts on it or just buying its stock. Looking for that move again with earnings. We could get a nice earnings run as well, the 27th. Potentially get, what is the movement for that one? $11, so that could be a pretty large mover as well. But again, I don't like to speculate on earnings and just do a complete trade into earnings. Really looking for support potentially around the 192 to 193, because it has come down to those levels before where that consolidation come in, really coming down to 193 potentially there. To the upside, we could basically look for if it's going to be that move of plus or minus $11, market makers are looking potentially down up to $210 there, my friend. Joseph, CRM has earnings Tuesday and dropped on Friday. Would you think it has potential to continue an upward trend? Great question. Let's go take a looky, Lou. Yeah, it dropped 1%, so that's nothing crazy. It just had an all-time high just the previous day. With earnings on Tuesday, like you said, it's going to be a difficult one, like we just talked about, that potential of, not going to be playing crazy earnings, but this is definitely one I could be selling some puts on. So the previous high, again, about that, let's just call it 210, looking for that movement. If earnings, what is the earnings for this week? $13.13. Let's just call it $13. Looking for that movement again. It came back down, consolidated, did not close below that 78.6 percentile move. So that's a great little sign there as well, to kind of see that potentially they start building a base there, and seeing that movement kind of consolidate. With earnings, anything can happen, so be super mindful of that. in the sense of if it goes higher, we're going to be looking for around 215 potentially, even to that 221 if it really just takes it and blows it out of the water. So those are going to be my next price targets to the upward band. Downside, we're really going to be coming in support around the $200 price target. $200 is going to be my initial support there, and then coming down to potentially the 50-day, which is around 193. Since there's a kind of a mix-up of momentum and overall volume oscillator, somewhat of a sketchy kind of particular trade, but I might be playing this one on just the weekly side, maybe just selling some puts potentially around the 34 or 50 simple moving average. LL. What's LL? Oh, Lumber Liquidators. Yeah, this is I remember when Lumber Liquidators were supposed to go bankrupt. This has been a crazy upside move again. This is really just that everyone's staying at home. They're upgrading their house, furnishing things, becoming stay-at-home farmers, do-it-yourselfers, all this kind of stuff. This looks like a fantastic-looking stock. I kind of want to do it in a little bit of longer time frame to kind of get a better understanding. So again, oh, didn't click where I wanted it to. There we go. Nope. There we go. So it looks like it's trying to break above. It did close above that 26.98. It did. If this momentum can continue, which this is a lot of momentum here, it's really high on the high band of RSI. But the Chaikin money flow, I've never seen that aggressive before. So this movement could continue to around $30.30 there. So to the downside, we're looking for support basically around $18 to kind of come in where that 200-day is, as well with those parabolic SARs. To the weekly side, on the daily side, we're looking for short-term support around 22.55 and down to that 18.12, which is basically lines up with that 50-day simple moving average. We can look at AMD. We did cover AMD, but that's a great looking stock. I always like to look at AMD, one of my bigger winners this year. With a large move higher, we're potentially looking for some consolidation here, Alex. Alexander, sorry. No, I want to call you Alex because your name says Alexander. So with that being said, we're looking for some consolidation around 82. Kind of potentially waiting for these moving averages to kind of catch up with the overall consensus of like, hey, if this 5-day start crossing through the 21, we could potentially looking for further downside below 73 down to 65. Really, the next initial upside target be around $95. Lowe's is for women. Hold on, let's go here through here. Sorry, the chat's just flying through here. Yeah, I will. I did see that the overall pharmaceutical and basically vaccine stuff might get a huge bump today. Or coming in tomorrow. Fastly, yes, Fastly is one. That's the company I was talking about that got hit after earnings. So this one really got hit after earnings, came back down, came to that 50-day again. 50-day is a moving averages that a lot of people follow who basically do anything from charting to basic charting and just basic knowledge of charting. 50-day and the 200-day are the ones that really kind of come out a lot of the times there. Looking for that pattern to continue to hold, kind of grinding higher here, getting that movement higher. We did not see that break above $90, which we initially thought. Looking again for this pattern, want to see that 5 and 8 kind of cross through the 21, potentially to get above that $90. To the downside, we're looking for some support around $80 there. Blue, what's O? Retail income. Okay. This is like some kind of REIT. We can look at this one. So swing high, swing low. With even do the fib without do the fib numbers, it's still below the 200 EMA, which is well, it's whatever. Really consolidating around $61.41. Again, that's that 50% retracement. So nothing terrible here. We just need to start seeing it above 63 to start getting above 66. With the volume zone oscillator and the RSI kind of a little bit of stagnant. It's kind of the we'll see how that overall plays out. 1 second. Oh, hold on, my chat. Who is this guy? So you want to know more about the volume zone oscillator. So the volume zone oscillator is basically something that kind of tracks the total volume and the relative volume in a particular time period. So this particular time period that we're looking at is at 14 days, which I sometimes change this actually. Sometimes I like to do it to like 21, and so it's different price extremes. I'm going to see if this does to kind of give a better perspective here. So basically it's tracking the overall change in volume over this X amount of period of time, and it gives it an allocation of different various numbers. So if there's more of a increase in volume in the sense of, hey, more activity, more buying is going through, the higher the number. So you kind of see these arbitrary lines in here. These are all by default as well. So 20, I think it's like 40, and then 60. Those are the extreme levels. If it gets into those channels between 40 and 60, that's basically considered like a high level RSI, and there's a lot of buying. It's on everyone's radar, and it has a lot of momentum behind it. Same when it starts crossing through to the negative side, meaning there's some downward pressure, and the overall volume is kind of not just dropping off to the sell side. We did Google. We can look at Google again. Google is just such a difficult one to trade. It's one of my favorite stocks. Some people call this like I don't know. They can call it a cup and handle. They can call it a semicircle pattern. What they can name it, whatever. Potentially looking for the next price target around 1671 to the upside. Downside support is going to come around 1530. With that movement, we had a very short-term squeeze, kind of fire higher, but there's nothing really screaming here that wants to buy this. Like the movement, it's kind of far away from the 21, so it's kind of would have been better to buy it in here, potentially, and then have that run up. But now it's going to be I'm not able to buy this with my rules, but depending on how you will look at things, to the long side of this kind of stuff, especially on the weekly side, we can kind of come in here, potentially look for really strong support coming around 1420. If it's going to come down there again, I don't know. But you can really see this potentially trading higher between the 5 and 8 moving averages on the weekly side, and potentially see that 1670-ish kind of come into play there. Z, yes, I like Z. So we played Redfin. Someone just said Redfin, didn't they? Did I miss that? Tim said Redfin. So, yeah, Zillow, Redfin have just been doing so well, and it's surprising, right? Like, why is this doing well? Like, guess what? People still need to sell their house, and guess what? They're not going to the mom and pop retail shop that's down the street. They're all going to do it online. So this has really just exploded the overall market for Redfin and Zillow. So Zillow is great, good moving higher. Next price target for Zillow is around $95 on our radar. Really just holding that 5 and 8 moving averages, continue to grind higher. Momentum strong. RSI is doing very well. As we talked about here, that it's in the channel on the top zone of the volume zone oscillator, so it's on a lot of people's radar. So this is really what we looked at on Redfin, which was kind of a little bit of a I want to call it a lagger, but it was kind of coming in here, consolidating, building a base, not trying to break out to its all-time high. Got in a couple options, and I think mostly stock here. Had a huge up move, got to 46, sold it, sold the rest around 47. Potentially looking for the next price target around $49 for Redfin. Again, downside support is going to come around 47.70 to the short term. PTGX. This is an interesting one. This is going to be a hard one to kind of break down because it looks like it's just earnings and then news-driven stuff. Looking for maybe some longer dated information here. Let's do this. Not my favorite pattern because again, hasn't really moved that much from 3 years ago. Not really my growth stocks, but looking at a lot of consolidation around that 1650 range. Breaking out here, really strong day. It looks like last week, and got above that 1980 here. Looking for potentially to hit that 23, which is the all-time high. Again, being a pharmaceutical stock, looks like some kind of therapeutical pharmaceutical stock. Really ones that I normally don't play due to the fact of just its crazy swings. Let's see here. Let's see here. I want to check something out here. Brian on Facebook, I think it's a slow, steady grinder to break up certain levels. And Dropbox, DBX, that thing has been, I was super bullish on this one a long time ago. Let me see if I can find it. I think it was way back, yeah, not that long ago, because it's not it hasn't been traded that much. But so normally, like a newer IPO stock, I normally don't touch it for 2 or 3 quarters, and then it kind of gets on my radar. It did cut on my radar. It's been holding that 21 EMA for some time, around $23. Went pretty long on it, thinking it was going to break to 30 plus. It did not. It went the complete other way. Again, I was too emotional driven, and it was too close to the hype there, and really just got crushed here. That hurt a lot, and then I haven't really touched it then. It's kind of been on my radar on and off. You kind of see some pattern here that I looked at for some potential trading sideways on the daily side, breaking below that 200 EMA, and just really just negative looking at the stock. It's just not really performing that well as it should have in this particular market. Really looking for potential upside support really coming in. It's not breaking above that 21 EMA to the short side, and does not look like a great pattern, honestly. So I really can't touch it, my friend. Oh, Tim, we just did Redfin. We can do Redfin for you again. Oh, I misspelled. I wrote the whole Redfin. So with Redfin, we took we did it as a trade, really. Really should have let it run some more because again, that squeeze is still in play. Looking for that consolidation pattern that happened around 43.70. Really kicking higher. With this movement going higher, we can easily look at that $49 price target to the short term side. Let's do, hold on, sorry, it's kind of going really fast here. Okay, my thing keeps on scrolling. Why does it do that? Big and Jan. Big, is that Big Lots? Is this the company that was supposed to be being bought by someone? Big Lots, I remember shorting this one over here somewhere. I shorted it over here. Well, honestly, the pandemic helped me out a lot. That being said, this thing has really just kind of came back and just continued grinding higher. Really looking for that really strange potential pullback to the 21 for a nice V-shaped recovery on this one. Because we've seen that multiple times, 1, 2, 3. Why can't it happen a fourth time? Buying it up here would be a little bit difficult between the 5 and 8. Want to see it closer to the 21 or 34, my friend. Army of Goo. GM has a secret weapon of EV development trucks. Well, they need to bring them out because they need to get the show on the road. With GM, this thing really, just like Ford, they are trying to adapt with this new world, and it's tough because they're so tied to the old school way of doing things. You can buy a Tesla with your credit card online and get it delivered. Like, I don't know if GM or Toyota or any of those car makers can actually do that yet. With that overall, looking at the chart here, we really need to get above that 200 EMA and really start seeing that consolidation to go higher. Not seeing that really kind of come through. Really want to see it above $30, which is the 618 from the previous swing high to low Fibonacci retracement. It's failed basically there twice, and now kind of coming back down. Potentially, if it can hold above 27, to consolidate and try to get its push back higher to get above that $30. I think that's kind of the trade that I would be looking at, but this is not really a trade that I would be taking on my personal level. Dow Jones asking for Yum. Yeah, Yum. It's a food stock. Basically, this is Taco Bell, KFC? Yeah, it's Taco Bell, KFC, and then something else, right? Pizza Hut, right? But Pizza Hut's a little from around the 200 and the 618. So if we can stay above that $94.80, that would be a great looking sign here to really start seeing this move potentially. It's going to be difficult because it's failed here once, twice, and potentially could see it again. Long Johns. Okay. We are seeing it really is trying to break out, but I don't think it has the momentum to do so. We did have a squeeze in place. RSI and volume zone oscillator. RSI seems somewhat strong here, but the volume zone oscillator is not there. There's not much of volume coming in here to really push this higher. Potentially support coming around 91 to 92. Looking for, again, if it really does get some legs, it can go to 105. To the downside, if it really starts breaking here and falling apart, which it has twice before, initial support's going to be around 92 and then down to $87. Blue is asking for Disney. Yes, we can always talk about that one. This is one of the longer term positions I have that I've had for quite some time, ever since I've been trading. We're talking a decade plus. From the swing high to swing low, really huge down move with the overall pandemic. Really just got taken out to the woodshed, beaten up, curb stomped, salt in the wounds, lemon in the eyes kind of scenario. Just not a great day for Disney. That was a couple months. Then try to make a kind of a rebound here, kind of getting above the 200-day, failing multiple times, really kind of coming in and not being able to break above the 125 level here. Now seeing that potential pattern, super strong last earnings report with basically highlighting the streaming services and, of course, the really soft launches of coming back to the Disney parks and the other various aspects of the business, talking sports as well, slowly coming back. Potential support coming in around 125. If the 125 cannot hold, we're going to be coming back down to around the 120 or the 118 level. So 120 to 118 if the 125 can't hold. Potentially looking for the 137 price target, really highlighting everything. Derek, what's up? Have you done crowd? We have not. We have not done crowd. So crowd has earnings coming up. I am afraid that I'm always afraid of these stocks really just moving into a high expectation, the hype train or whatever. People just getting super excited to potentially see the stock just move up into these price ranges, which is somewhat, I wouldn't say unreachable, but just it's giving its inflated value. We're hitting at a pretty crucial level that we've seen here kind of fail before just a couple weeks ago. That's around the 113.18 range, where if we kind of broke above it, then kind of consolidated, then came back down. We want to see it above this price target. Really want to see it above the 108 here, and basically above 105 to 108, which is where the 21 kind of line up. With earnings on the horizon, we have to be very mindful of like, hey, anything can happen. We know last earnings was really well, but it didn't have a really strong earnings run. It did have a really strong earnings run, but it still beat and then really had the momentum to continue going higher. Now it's kind of been choppy and taking sideways action here, potentially seeing some trading sideways, consolidation. What is this? Do they have weekly options? It looks like, what day was earnings? I think it was the 3rd of September? The 2nd. 2nd of September, so we're looking at this trade tab, so a move of $13. It's pretty substantial from now into that particular options expiration. That could easily take it up. Things are doing very well. We're looking for that 1272 extension, so around 125 to the upside. To the downside, we're looking for some support basically around the 103 all the way down to the 100 level. What's up with the thing for coming in there? Roku, yes, David. We can look at Roku. That's kind of one that's been really quiet here, just kind of just trading sideways. Even after earnings not doing, I think it just kind of ran up too much into earnings. I think if it just was continued just trading sideways around the 150 and then reported earnings, I think would be kind of in a different pattern in the sense of just maybe potentially holding the 165 into potentially testing 175. Now we're seeing that really tight consolidation here. We had a squeeze, fired short. It didn't really take the stock that much shorter because that 21 and 34 pattern is really kind of coming in to kind of help it consolidate here on the daily side. We just don't want to see it start breaking below here. Since the 5 and 8 are kind of below 21 here strategically, if this starts curving lower, potentially start breaking below 140, we could be easily seeing the 131 price target. To the upside, we want to see it above 150, potentially to get it above 162 to that 176 price target. Everything's kind of dormant between the RSI and volume zone oscillator, so this is really just a kind of a coin flip. There is some damage in this that needs to kind of recover, so we could be just trading a steady eddy here for a little bit. Tesla. We did Tesla, but we have not done Amazon. Amazon. This one, great trade that we had of last week and still in play here that we have still on. Really kind of came in, held that magical purple line, really made it the purple line, aka where that 21 EMA is, really holding that pattern, bouncing higher. Coming here, passing through, again, these are large numbers, 3,246. We see a hold above that 78.6 percentile move, potentially testing all-time high. The momentum strong. We just need to see that volume zone oscillator to get above that 20-point range to really see this start kicking higher. Could be just trading sideways, potentially getting that momentum to kick higher above that, basically 33.44 level for Amazon. To the downside, we're really kind of coming in and support around the 31.6999 or where the 21 EMA lines up, because we've seen a lot of bounces before. PN, is that Palo Alto Networks? PANW. Of course, this being a large component of the security overall plays with earnings as well of tomorrow after the market. This thing has been performing fairly well here, just kind of holding between the 21.34, coming down a couple times, but just really, again, a very aggressive momentum stock, holding that 5 and 8 moving averages and just continue to grind higher here. Want to look this on more like a weekly side. I remember this now. This has had a huge negative. What happened here? The virus took this down so much. Holy moly, that's crazy. I didn't know Palo Alto got hit that hard from the virus. That's crazy. Wow. Wish that was on my watch list. That's a great looking start. And then really just being a strong recovery. On the weekly side, support on the short term is coming around 251. So be mindful of that. But with earnings on the horizon, anything can happen. We could see substantial movement up or down. Again, with coin flips of those markets, it's going to be very difficult to see what happens. Teddy and Makeshift says DMT. TMT, is that that's a drug, right? Are you just talking about the transport section? So this is basically this is the overall transport section, aka FedEx, UPS, and overall those sections. So that is a pretty nice indicator here, kind of building a base here, potentially start testing all-time highs there as well. Let's see here. I did see that David Blaine's balloon thing he's gonna do. God bless him. Shane Tech, thank you. I am feeling a little bit better. Hopefully by Tuesday I'll know more, and I have to meet with a surgeon to see if he can help me. Oh, we talked about Joe Rogan DMT. Okay, the drug. Okay. This is the Dow Jones transportation average, I believe. It's a drug. I don't know much about drugs, so. We did Nvidia, but we'll look at it again. That's a nice little stock to look at, a nice little reminder of what we missed. With Nvidia here, really holding that 5 and 8 moving averages, continue to grind higher, breaking through, again, that $500 price target we had initially. Potentially could be seeing some consolidation here with, again, earnings behind us, so there's really no large catalyst here. Potentially start seeing the next price target for Nvidia is basically for us is around $563. We did spot, my friend, MGM's billion-dollar properties investments not understood. Monday morning pop, Madison Square Garden, Entertainment Corp. That's awesome. I would love to see David Blaine. I think he's awesome. He's not one of those show-off magicians, and he actually really makes these crazy endurance, mind over matter kind of things. What are the futures doing right now? You said NASDAQ futures? Yeah, NASDAQ's trying. So NASDAQ's price target's kind of coming in here around 11,699.97 is basically what we're looking for, potential overhead resistance or our next price target. We're not that far off from it, so anything can happen overnight. I'm not going to be trading this, honestly. if I wake up early around 3 again this morning, I might be trading it to kind of see how it plays out, especially on the 4-hour chart, to kind of see on how it interacts with everything else. Bruce, Ali blah blah. Wait, we took Ali blah blah. This one is an interesting one because it's really hitting this 1, 2, 3 pattern here, trying to get to that all-time high of 268 here again. I think it could do it with the really strong earnings. The overall movement again, Ali blah blah is really loved by a lot of investors, and basically some people's only exposure to the Chinese market, which I don't trust, to be quite honest with you guys. Seeing this movement here from the swing high to swing low, where again that's the 100% retracement. If this can break, we're looking for around the price target around 275 here. I haven't done what's JI? What is that? JINA? What is that one? Am I missing that? Misspelling that one? Okay, the chat just moved. Yeah, I'm not seeing that one. Did I misspelling it? Makeshift saying Netflix puts. Yeah, what is Netflix doing? What are those? I actually logged into Netflix the other day and I was like, they added a bunch of stuff. Puts, that's going to be a little bit difficult for me to tell you to buy puts here, my friend. But I can kind of see what you're saying here. It's really just not performing very well. Potentially around 508. If it can't get above that, that could be a potential position here. But the momentum's switching higher. The volumes on oscillator is not negative. RSI is kind of, again, around the $50 point level, so it's nothing really printing lower. You're just going to be betting too soon on that move down. So I can't really. And the parabolic SAR just switched to the downside, so it's going to be a very difficult one to watch. Potentially, it's trying to build a base here, lack of better words. Oh, it's a penny stock I don't like. I'll take a look for you anyways, because you're always kind. I can maybe give you some insight. It's not a penny stock. It kind of came from the penny world, so there's nothing. Looks like I did this TA before here. Really looking for some potential here to the downside here, with a large movement with the 5 and 8 crossing aggressively through the 21. Not looking as the world's greatest pattern here. Did not hold at 1190.87. Potentially trying to hold around the 50-day, aka also the 50% retracement from the previous swing high to low, around $10. A nice round number. It basically closed at $10, but there is a lot of damage in this place. Again, I don't know why it dropped so much, but this could easily, if this damage doesn't recover or try to start fixing itself, we could easily come back down to around the $9 or $8.68 there, my friend. Derek C. Yes, we can look at Chegg. This is one that I actually made one of my other great trades this year. Really kind of came out. I think I got out before earnings run because, again, earnings runs have just been a nice little play, getting on that FOMO trade, getting on that momentum, coming back down. Now it's kind of consolidating in this pattern here. Momentum's kind of blah. The volumes on oscillator is negative, which is I'm not a fan of. And RSI is kind of blank as well. Potentially, if it stays above that $75 level, it's still somewhat of a long play for me. Since the 5 and 8 haven't aggressively crossed through the 21, that's as well. But the parabolic SAR has is keeping it down a little bit due to the fact of it being up top. We want to start seeing that start coming lower potentially, or we see price break above it. Again, the fib's not going to be doing too much knowledge here, but again, with that huge move on that 2 quarters ago, potentially seeing some movement here. If this can hold again above 75, I think I might be selling some puts on this, just to play it a little bit more conservative there for Chegg. Robert, we can look at silver. With silver again, holding that 5 and 8 moving average, just kind of grinding higher. With everyone speculating on market crashes and the economy, it's just kind of all over the place, and normally don't like to speculate on that kind of stuff. But on the chart here, that 21 is basically going to be your short-term support around $24, and just kind of holding between the 5 and 8 moving averages here for a little bit. That being said, on the weekly side, it's really just printing higher here, looking for that initial support. We wanted to see it above that basically $30 to the upside. That is a pretty substantial amount where we're currently trading at, even though gold is down as of right now, but it's kind of making slightly of a comeback in the futures market, but it's kind of been beaten down a little bit. We have been on the oversold side or overbought here on the silver and on gold, so not meaning that it's going to come crashing down, but that we just have to be a little bit mindful of, like, hey, the move is in place and we can see how it goes. Yeah, mine, Toss, was having issues last week. A lot of times fetching data, if you were able to log in, when you put it in a ticker, it was just spinning. Just not a fun experience. I kind of wanted to get the Tastyworks folks to kind of give... I was trying to talk to them potentially to give some movement on the sense of, can I offer something special to my subscribers or my members or something like that. I haven't got back to me about that because, again, I was like, hey, this is an opportunity to get some people to come to your platform. I love it, so yeah, we'll see how it works out. I'll let you guys know. What are those price target indicators called that you have on your TOS? Is actually like those. Actually, price target indicators. Those are the Fibonacci retracements. You're talking about those? They're just Fibonacci retracements that I draw on there, all hand. MCD, Mickey D's for Mr. Robert Miller and Teddy Johnson. Yeah, I kind of like this due to the fact, again, McDonald's has already had earnings, had a pullback on earnings, coming back to the 21, making a ricochet here, breaking above that $200 price target, which had 1, 2, 2.5 issues there before, and now continue to grind higher here. Next overall price targets would be kind of coming in around the 215, and then 220 would be something that would be looking at for potential moving higher. Yeah, I'm not a McDonald's guy either, honestly, but sometimes I haven't taken a road trip in a while, but sometimes you gotta take it. Oh, people love Mickey D's. On the weekly side, it looks really strong here as well. On the weekly side, a slight little change of momentum doesn't mean it's going to come crashing down. To the short side, we're going to be looking for some potential holding around $200, but nothing really else to report there. This is not like a Tesla or a Facebook. It's a McDonald's that sells hamburgers. My dad's rubber brokes, NVAX. Is that one of the pharmaceutical companies? Yeah, this is, again, speculative stock here. If I'm thinking this one right, am I right? Novavax. I think this is the one I heard about. The only thing that's kind of concerning here with the 5 and 8 potentially crossing through the 21, but we have seen support around 132 here before to the downside. But again, it's a pharmaceutical play if I'm thinking I'm calling it right. If I know this company. Let me Google this real fast. What is NVAX? American Vaccine Development Company, headquartered in Gaithersburg. Oh, that's right down the street. Okay. That's interesting. You had $202. Holy moly, dude. I had 2,000 shares of Novavax when it was at $2 and got rid of it. So I can give you guys a quick story time. I had thousands of shares of AMD at $2 or $3. If I held those, right? If I was a Warren Buffett trader and value investor or whatever, yeah. Those that kept me awake at night multiple nights. You got to get through those. You got to get through those trades. Yeah, this one, huge run again, playing on that the virus and vaccine stuff. If that 5 and 8 crossed through the 21, which it hasn't since these moving averages here, you kind of did. We did like kind of a wedge pattern here with the squeeze here. It broke higher. Look at that move. We have no squeeze in play here. Looking for that 5 and 8 potentially to cross lower. A downward support is going to come in around 115, 116. I should be rich. I know. You live and you learn, right? Oh, you had 1,000. Oh man, that's rough, man. We haven't discussed Tesla, or no, so we have discussed Tesla, but I can do it quick again. I'm going to be calling it here in a little bit, probably in like 15-ish minutes. It's been on for about 2 hours. So with Tesla, anything can happen. Like, I mean anything. Looking for that movement. I think it's going to be closing above 2,100 at least this week, just for the meme. Just a joke. But my next price target is 25.10. I know that's really far away. The 5-to-1 split's taking place this week into Friday. Potentially downside support is going to be coming around 19.20 and then down to like the 16.50. This again is a super crazy aggressive stock, and it has literally its mind of its own. And I think that FOMO is really going to kick in. I think we could easily stay above that 2,100, even to 2,200 coming in the next couple days, because people are just... I just don't know why people think it's free money. I don't understand it. Let's see here. GE, we covered GE. It needs a break above the 618 level here. I think it was the 618. GE. Oh no, we said we did GM. You want GE. So GE we did not cover. Looking for this one, you can kind of see I have some price targets here. It needs a break above the $6.75. To the downside, we could see $5.87. Basically, my parameter is what I'm looking at here currently. It's below the 200 EMA, not a good sign for the bulls. It's below the 21 EMA, not a good sign for the bulls. Potentially, if it can build a base here around the $6, above $6 at least, to kind of start building a base and go higher. We are seeing the volume zone oscillator trying to come back, but again, we could see that move kind of come up here and kind of fail here at the 50-day and come back down. This is just really much tied to the overall market if it really comes back with China. And on the weekly side, this gives the pattern completely, just the complete downtrend, just going lower and lower and lower, trying to get some life in it. We have somewhat of a squeeze setting up here. I'm not going to be putting in too many positive spins on this, but we've seen a squeeze in here before on the weekly side, and they all have fired short. This one is trying to go from low to high, this momentum, but the Chaikin money flow is super negative, meaning there's not many institutional or pension investors, because again, it's a $6 stock, and those hedge funds wouldn't dare be caught holding a $6 stock, because it has to be, most hedge funds like to buy stocks that are above $20 to $25. So if the client comes to them like, why are you holding a $6 stock? It looks like it's just, whatever. It is what it is, right? TLT, possible reaction to Powell's talk Thursday. Yeah, TLT, we haven't really talked about the bond yields here, but with this, again, TLT, we're just kind of trading in this range between 171 and 165 and kind of just bouncing around left and right here and seeing how this potentially plays out. To the downside, it's trying to potentially kick higher here. If it fails here at basically the 166 to 167, we can kind of come back down to that 165 or even lower to the 160. AMC, we can look up for AMC for either Christopher. AMC, I don't even know, has anyone been to the movie theater? Like, I know they're offering like crazy cheap tickets. I don't even know if they're allowing movie theaters in my area. I think they are. I don't even know what they're like. It must be like 6 feet apart and wear a mask. But I love to go to the Alamo. Have you ever been to the Alamo? That's a lot of fun. The movie theater. So it's been well below 200 EMA even before this whole crisis. So that's never a greatest sign. And it's trying to make a recovery here. Kind of seeing some base building here. Really want to see it above $6 here to kind of see the really kind of break out here. Even though I'm not too familiar with the matter in the sense of if it got an influx of cash, did they take out some more loans, things like that. So fundamentally speaking, this could just have taken on more debt. I just don't know. This is definitely a really strange one to trade. On the weekly side, it just tells you the pattern overall. That momentum is just really to the downside. Potentially, again, let's like GE, kind of potentially building a consolidation here, but something I really don't want to be putting my focus on, honestly. Army of Goo, PFE uptrend breakout. PFE. Pfizer breakout. It needs to get breakout above 39.77 for me to consider it a breakout, because it's just kind of just trending here higher around 39, which is basically where it has previously just kind of failed here, and just not being able to get out of this this particular pattern here. With a squeeze here in place, we could see that movement, or we could see that movement to really break above 40 there if it really wants to. To the downside, we're really looking for support around 37.22. Pfizer, not my best cup of tea there though. It's a pharmaceutical company. It's a large pharmaceutical company, but yeah. Let's do Rocket Mortgages. I think I just missed one. Hold on. Someone asked for something. Did I miss something? Oh. Coolest dad ever. What's up, my friend? How do you determine your breakout patterns, and how can we learn to draw the lines and read charts? That's breakout. So it's a combination. It's not just one thing that I tie to a breakout. It has to have a combination of different various indicators. So let me think of one that is kind of on my radar. Let's see. So let's do this one. This is the one I kind of shorted last week, just slightly. So what got on my radar was, hey, I did the Fibonacci retracements from the swing high to swing low. I saw it was having issues breaking out above the 618 level, which is around $60-ish, $60.50. Was consolidating here. It was getting some momentum going here. The TTM squeeze, again, in a squeeze. RSI was kind of flat, but the volume zone oscillator was going lower, and that's actually, it broke from positive to negative, and that was my indication of like, okay, so $60.50 was my in, and I basically shorted it to the downside with options. I bought really deep in the money puts. I think I bought, what did I buy here? Let me pull this over here. What was it, XLU? I bought like September, oh come on, XLU. I bought like deep in the money ones. I bought like the 65 or like 70 put, so I really got a lot of delta on it, so I had a lot of movement. And just this small move, I think I maybe paid $600 or $700 for one put. That one movement down was like $200 move in that particular options, and I just sold it for a very quick, I think it was like 3-day trade. That would be a sign of that. I'm trying to think of something that's really just kind of coming to my understanding. I kind of want to do something. I'll do some kind of live stream, and just instead of just looking at charts, I'll kind of start potentially give you maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 different examples of some charts that I'm looking at, and been potentially looking at the breakdown. Because it's not just like, okay, so it's like, okay, it's got a squeeze, so it got on my radar. I'm seeing some overall pressure. Okay, that's another checkbox. Okay, volumes on oscillator is not looking great. Okay, that's another checkbox. Parabolic SAR is above it. Okay, that's another checkbox. 5 and 8 have crossed through the 21. Okay, that's another checkbox. So this is more checkboxes you get, just the more negative or positive you can spin or look at that overall trade. And again, the Fibonacci retracements kind of give me a potential price target of what I could be looking at. Before I forget, let's do Rocket. You guys want to do Rocket. So Rocket is going to be a very difficult one to kind of to look at on a daily side. We have to kind of look at a little bit of a different chart here. So this is one that kind of came on my radar here as well for a breakout, but sadly I wasn't able to get into it as large of a position as I wanted to with a squeeze here. So again, we saw that really tight consolidation pattern here. We're looking here on a 4-hour chart, not a daily chart or a weekly chart, a 4-hour chart. That pattern coming down, holding this pattern, started as soon as that 5 and 8 crossed through the 21, that's a nice little buying opportunity, and just then bada bing, bada bang, and now just ripping higher. How high can this go? We can kind of look again. Let's flip here. So from the previous swing high to low, breaking into all-time highs just the other day, looking for initial target around $30 potentially, and then if $30 can't hold, we're looking around $32. I think this could have a pretty substantial earnings run, so this would be one potentially to come on my radar this week again, if we can kind of see this consolidation pattern to kind of hold around $25 ish level. Would be a nice interesting one to kind of see play into earnings. Again, it's a newer IPO, so a little skeptical at times on playing its very first earnings, without a doubt there. So not the most conservative plays. Josh McDonald, hey, sorry I'm late in the live stream, Ken. I know you've covered it. Just a real quick price target for Apple. I honestly, Apple is Apple price target is going to be very difficult to break. To tell you, we had, where did it go? I thought I had one on here. What happened to my fib here? It was like $500, $526. So $528 is my initial price target. If it really wants to run and it really has legs coming into next week. Again, I thought it was going to hit $500 around the split. I was off. It happened in like 2 days. So with this one, anything can happen with this one without a doubt. Really looking for around 528. Again, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if it really does want to happen, the fibs are saying that this is what could be the next potential price target. GM could be the next Tesla, loading up on it's cheap. Yeah, that's an opinion to have. Like I'm not gonna say no to it. It's just not gonna be the same opinion that I share. I respect your opinion, but I can't agree with it. I think Tesla and GM are two different companies. And the thing with Apple puts, yeah, be careful, because those can. Everyone and their mother's like, oh, this can't go higher. Again, that's what drives the FOMO and drives the burn. It can just really just go continuously higher. I'm gonna add Rocket to the short list here. I know is Ryan still on here? I know he was up. He played it this week. Did fairly well, I think, for himself. 30-40% banger. Yeah, housing is hot a lot. My dad's rubber broke. You said you're a roofer, so he should know the market inside and out, right? KD, is it K? Oh, KN. Okay. KNDI. I don't know what this is, but that is a crazy move there. I can't add too much on that, just the fact of yeah, that's a huge move higher. That's too speculative and too much of a FOMO trade without a doubt. I'm with U-Haul. Yeah, I can look at that one. That's a nice, very much an interesting play here, without a doubt. So this one from the previous swing high to previous swing low. Oh, if it doesn't click on the right price here. Swing high, swing low. Seeing some consolidation around the 348, 350. Potentially trying to break out here. Failed here once, twice. Now kind of above it. If we can build a base here, earnings behind us, build a base here, potentially hit the 382-ish. Downside support's going to be coming around 340, even down to 325 there. Ryan hasn't called me a boomer in a little. Maybe he did call me a boomer on Makeshift. I can't remember when. Yeah, I couldn't imagine owning a bar right now. That would be insane. Cannot imagine that. UAL. Oh, look at that one. The old United Airlines. Again, a lot of the airlines basically can be summed up in just one stock, and what I like to use is just Jets. What's the Jets ETF? Basically, they all just kind of trade the same, because they're all, lack of a better words, all in the same. They're all on the same plane. Get it? That being said, Really looking for some consolidation here, basically around the $16-ish. If we can start seeing above 17, that would be nice, but we're just looking for some consolidation, and we're really just waiting and hoping on some good news to come out if you're long jets or any of the airline stocks, to really see that rotation go higher. Of course, that is tied to BA and all the different components that go into airplanes. Maintenance behind it, without a doubt. That being said, there is some downside potential as well. Potentially downside coming in around $15-ish. You're old. J. Drew, have we covered Twilio? We have not, actually. We'll do TWLO. So this has, just like Fastly and those other various SaaS internet-facing companies, didn't have a great quarter. Well, it had a great quarter, but the earnings, the stock has moved up too much into the earnings call, and then just kind of came crashing down. Came down to the 34, potentially consolidating here. Potentially wanting to see this move to get above the $263 to get above 270. Downside support is basically where it's at now at 250 for Twilio. Potentially trading sideways. We want to see that volume zone oscillator get positive. RSI start kicking in and start seeing the 5 and 8 moving average to get above that 21. Alrighty then, that, my friends, I'm going to call it a night. Been streaming for a little over 2 hours here. Hopefully everyone had a fantastic time, and potentially going to be doing some live streams next week, potentially during market hours or most likely in the evening. It just better fits my schedule, and instead of just trying to hold positions and just live stream and do live trading, it's just kind of a little bit tougher to do to make sure I don't mess anything up, because again, I'm a slow trader, so I have to be very careful what I do. I'm very, very methodical. Oh, we haven't done purple. Okay, I did want to do that one, Alexander, sorry. So you wanted to look at the old purple mattress again. People went crazy long on this. Had a huge flop here on earnings, came back down, crossed through the 21 EMA, and now that 5 and 8 crossed through the 21 here, potentially consolidating and holding the 34 EMA, so around $21. If we don't hold those $21, we could start seeing the lower prices around 19 or below. We want to see this to be on the bullish side. We want to see the 5 and 8 start curling up and getting back above the 21, and at the same time seeing those parabolic SARs switch from the top to the bottom to give it that really nice uplift movement higher. Again, there is damage on this one. We do have damage here on the volumes on oscillator, and RSI is somewhat flat. We really want to start seeing that to kind of get potentially start going positive, and same with momentum. And again, we had a lot of selling coming in due to his earnings. Let those weak hands come out, and we'll see how that goes through. I'm sure the Wall Street bets for, actually that's on my list. There was a guy who bet like a crazy amount of money on Wall Street bets for purple mattress, and I'm sure he's not doing too happy right now. Alright guys, thank you again so much for watching. If you're interested on joining the Discord, there's a link down below. Also have an affiliate link with Tastyworks. You want to look at that out for some trading stuff. And I also got to look at Patreon page if you want to support the channel, as well as the YouTube join button to join and support the channel and fun stuff like that. Again guys, thank you so very much. I really do appreciate everyone coming out on this beautiful Sunday evening and just having a great time. I really do appreciate it. Hope to see you guys soon. Again, like we talked about, potentially doing some more live streams in the evenings to kind of update midweek and things like that. And of course, stay tuned for more videos coming soon, so don't forget to hit that bell, everyone. Stay safe, everyone. Take it easy, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace!